The rally for our sovereignty in 2 Saturdays. Saturday, September 13th is going to be fantastic because it's either going to be a group of thousands of patriotic Canadians arguing that it's not right that the wait time at ERs is a record 27.7 hours, that our healthcare system is killing 70,000 Canadians a year that don't have to die, that we only have 227,000 housing starts a year when we allow in over 1.5 million immigrants a year. Our system is being overrun by a government that truly despises middle and lower class Canadians. Truly despises middle and lower class Canadians. This is not the immigrants' fault. This is our government's fault. Our government is betraying us. Mark Carney and the Liberal Party are a group of out-of-touch elites that are not impacted whatsoever by the fact we're allowing an additional 1.5 million people into the country every year when we do not have the social services to sustain it. It is middle and lower class Canadians whose lives are being destroyed due to these reckless policies that are not in the best interest of the Canadian people, and the Canadian people don't want it. 75% of Canadians say we have too much immigration, but Mark Carney is a tool of the WF, Davos, these global elites, this very small group of people who benefit from allowing millions of people into Canada so that Brookfield, who owns $37 billion worth of real estate in Canada, can continue to profit. Since Justin Trudeau was elected in 2015, their asset values in this country have more than doubled, and they need those numbers to continue to go up. It is a country that is now governed by an incredibly small percentage, the 0.01% of the population that are going to do fine no matter what. Mark Carney's going to have no issues no matter what. That much we know. Before I go into the detail of the other alternative, the other alternative this is going to prove why it's going to be good either way. Join if you're interested in becoming a member, supporting the movement. You'll get access to exclusive video content as well as help shape this movement. We're going to have members only chats. You can just hit the join button. Really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe the video. The other alternative is you need to submit certain paperwork in order to get a rally like this going. Of course, you have to email the parliament, give them notification, give them a heads up. And already being contacted by the police before I'd even completed the paperwork, you know that the Canadian government is snooping on Canadian citizens like never before. Bill C2, Bill C4, reckless overreaches by the Canadian government. But if they, for whatever reason, refuse to give the permits or say we are not allowed to rally on Parliament Hill, it is going to show what an absolute joke of a two-tiered political system, two-tiered justice system we have in Canada, and how the way you are treated is completely dependent on what your ideology is, which we already know in Canada is the fact, but this would just prove it more explicitly than what we've seen in the past. I have followed extremely closely in major cities in Canada these pro-Palestinian rallies, and it is not an exaggeration to say nearly all of the rallies I witnessed have things like fake body bags on the street, fake blood on people's hands, some of the most vile speech I have ever heard in my entire life coming out of people's mouths, people fully masked and acting in a menacing, threatening manner. This is at rally after rally after rally. And what's the reaction? The reaction is for the police to roll the red carpet out for these people. They are on their side. It's not an exaggeration. I've seen many of these rallies in 3 major Canadian cities, in Montreal, in Toronto, and Ottawa, and it's the same every place. Our police roll the red carpet out for these people. It is very clear that whoever their paymasters are at the Liberal Party have said, these people are on our side, you let them do whatever the hell they want to. It could not be more explicit that the higher-ups have told them these pro-Palestinian rallies have carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want to do. Meanwhile, Canada has probably been the most patient group of people in the world with our sovereignty. Traditionally, Canada is an incredibly pro-immigration country. The way the Liberals have bungled this and disrespected the middle and lower class To get 75% of Canadians to say enough immigration, we can't withstand anymore, is a true feat only an absolute moron like Justin Trudeau could accomplish during his disastrous tenure. His woke ideology that said was essentially a big FU to middle and lower class Canadians, allowing 8 million people into the country in 10 years, when we simply do not have the social services to afford, when tens of thousands of Canadians are dying needlessly every year because our healthcare system cannot support, when middle and lower class Canadians can literally not afford to rent or feed themselves due to the flooding of this country. There is something seriously wrong, yet Canadians have not hit the streets until now to get out and say, the government needs to listen to us. We know they don't listen to polling. Okay, then we're going to physically get in the streets to show you how we feel about these ridiculous policies that do not reflect the will of the people in any way, shape, or form. Now, if they try and shut us down and say we are not allowed to go on the streets, it will never have been more explicit that this so-called justice system that exists in Canada is a total farce, which we already know it to be. They go after certain people like the organizers of the Freedom Convoy strictly for their political ideology, when people screaming the most vile, hateful stuff you've ever heard on the street are given carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want. But we need to make the effort to actually physically get out on the streets, because it's become incredibly apparent that the Canadian government is not going to change or budge on these policies one iota unless we actually get in the streets peacefully, as is our Charter of Rights and Freedoms constitutional right to rally, to protest a government's insane policy. We have given the Canadian government so much leash, so much time to rectify these policies, and they refuse to do it. We are now seeing protests break out all across the UK, Australia. Canada is one of the last to latch on because, as I said, we are naturally a pro-immigrant country, but you cannot abuse the Canadian middle and lower class for this long a period of time and expect there to be absolutely no blowback. So Saturday, September 13th, we are going to hit Parliament Hill, let the government know exactly what we think about the fact that 70,000 Canadians a year are dying needlessly. They just announced the GDP numbers. Our GDP fell 1.6%. This with the so-called economic genius, Mark Carney, leading the charge in Canada. This man, that's a massive fall in Q1 2025, a 1.6% drop in Canada's GDP. And I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that the massive immigration targets that Carney set, he's surpassing them. He can't even keep it at the huge immigration targets that he's aiming for. He's going over them. This is not about being anti-immigrant. This is about being pro-Canadian, pro our own sovereignty, free speech. These are the pillars of Western civilization. If we will not stand up for these, this country will cease to exist as we have control. If we're not willing to stand up for these fundamental values, the Canadian government will just continue to disrespect us, to run over us, to think, we don't have to listen to those peasants. So it's time that we stand up. Saturday, September 13th, Parliament Hill, noon. I'll see you there. A rally for Canadian sovereignty. I couldn't be more excited for it. If you're watching on TikTok, make sure you watch on YouTube, because the Canadian government is not a very big fan of dissidents at all. Make sure you're following on YouTube, youtube.com/@FightForCanada. Because like I said, I've seen so many people taken down. That's a whole nother topic. But free speech in Canada is also under attack. Please like, subscribe, consider getting a membership or grabbing something from our store to get our message actually out on the streets. And looking forward to seeing you Saturday, September 13th.